I'm going to show you how to use a program called VeraCrypt. You most likely already know what VeraCrypt is, otherwise you wouldn't be watching this video. But if you're in the habit of using online storage like iCloud or Google Drive or Dropbox, I believe it's essential that you use a program like this which will encrypt your files for storage in the cloud, because a lot of these service providers that allow online or cloud storage, some of them, their privacy is a little questionable. Unless of course you're using a program like this one here, SpiderOak. You download the application and your password and username, and that is what's used to encrypt your files, and that's prior to them even going to their SpiderOak storage. So this one's pretty good, but if you're using other ones, I would be very skeptical, and I would get myself this VeraCrypt for sure. But I'm not going to show you where to find VeraCrypt or how to download VeraCrypt. I'll leave links to those videos in the description. There are some very good videos out there. There's no sense in me going over and redoing something that these guys have done so well. But I don't see a whole lot of videos on how to actually use VeraCrypt, so I figured I'd make one here. So we're going to go to the VeraCrypt program. There it is there. What VeraCrypt does, it'll make a container, and the container is viewed by your computer almost like an external hard drive that gets plugged in. So you specify the size and you give it a password and everything, and it's in that container that you put your files that you want to store and have safely encrypted. So we're going to create that container, and it wants to, VeraCrypt wants you to assign it basically a drive letter. Right now I'm on Linux Mint 17.1. I have this program also on my Ubuntu 14.04 long-term support, and I have it on my Mac OS 10 Yosemite, and it works perfect on all three operating systems. I also had it on a Windows operating system before I formatted this laptop and removed Windows altogether, but it worked perfectly well on the Windows as well. So I'm going to assign this the drive letter 10, and I'm going to create a volume. So we just create volume, and it says create an encrypted file container. Yes, indeed, that's exactly what I want to do. You also have an option to create a volume within a partition drive, but I'm just going to click create a encrypted container. Click next. Now I want to create a standard VeraCrypt volume. You could also create a hidden VeraCrypt volume. This is really deep. It's very simple. It walks you through it, no problem. But I won't get into this part. If I make another video on this, I'll show you how to do this one. But right now it's just going to be a standard VeraCrypt volume. So we click next. Now it wants to know, where do I want this volume saved to? So I'm going to choose the desktop. So you select File, Desktop. Now I want to give this volume a name, so I'm going to call it Test Container, C-O-N-T Container, and click Save. Now remember, always have this check box checked, because you don't want to be saving the history of what you're doing in this program. That's the whole purpose behind VeraCrypt. It's privacy. So this kind of defeats the purpose if you're going to save the history of everything you've done. So keep that checkbox there. And we're going to click Next. Now this is the encryption algorithm. I prefer, you have several to choose from, and a combination of the others. I just choose Serpent. I've read about it, and it was designed by Ross Anderson, Eli Beham, and Lars Knudsen. Published in '98, 256-bit key, 128-bit block. That's a really good. It was one of the finalists in some kind of a competition. I read about it, but I can't remember it all now. And here's your hash algorithm. I'm just going to leave that as default. You could choose some other ones. A lot of people choose Whirlpool. It doesn't really matter. One will be better than the other, but they're all very, very good. I just leave this at default. I'm going to click Next. Now it's going to want to know the size of the volume. Remember, volume is basically container. So your container has to be large enough to be able to store the files you want to put in it. So prior to making this volume, have a look at the files you want to put in it. So just for example, I'm going to put these 3 photos in there. So I want to see how big the 3 of those photos are. And altogether, they're 13.9 megs. So I want a container slightly larger than 13.9 megs. So I'm going to make a 20 meg container. And I'm going to click Next. Now it's going to want a password that it's going to use to encrypt that container. So make a good password, and for heaven's sakes, write it down, and just on a piece of paper maybe, and just put it in your wallet or hide it somewhere in your house. Don't put on the piece of paper, this is my password for the VeraCrypt container. Just put the password. Nobody will know what the password is for. As far as they're concerned, it could be latitude, longitude. So I'm going to create 1, 2, 3, 4 and confirm again. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you could get really deep here with encryption. You could choose key files. Now, if a key file, this is really interesting. You could have a photo somewhere on your hard drive, and you could use that photo as a key file. So when you're asked to open this VeraCrypt container later on, it will want to know this file, and you'll have to select it. Now, it's very unlikely anybody else in the world is going to have a photo of, let's say, your kid at 3 years old that is on his third birthday in exactly that pixel configuration. You know what I mean? So that gets really deep. But the thing is, if you ever touch that file after creating that container that use that file, you run problems into not being able to open it, because VeraCrypt will say, hey, this file has been changed. This isn't the one that you used to make this container. So I kind of stay away from this a little bit. But I mean, if you really want something solid, you could grab a bunch of photos, put them in a special folder, maybe copy photos into that folder, and just don't touch them again. And that'll be locked up tight. But I'm just going to use a short password. You should use a long one, but just for demonstration, I'm just going to use a short password here. Then you click Next, and it's telling me, hey, that password's pretty short, but that's okay. This is just demonstration. Click Yes, use it anyway. Now, for the file system, this is the file system that it's going to create in that container. Now, if you're Windows or whatever, you might most likely are going to be NTFS. If you're Linux, it'll be extended 3 or extended 4. FAT basically works for all of them. The files I'm going to put in this container are just simple little photographs. FAT will work fine. The container size is small. FAT will work fine. If I was going to have that container really huge and I was on like a Windows system, I might choose NTFS. If I was on a Linux system and I want that container to be like a gig or something like that, Well, I might go ahead and use extended 4, but for my purposes here, this container is only going to be 20 megs, so I'm just going to leave it at FAT, F-A-T, and we're going to click next. Now this is where you have a little bit of artistic content here. Depending on how you move your mouse, it's going to do stuff to the algorithm or something. It'll change the cryptographic strength of the encryption keys. So you could be real random, and the longer you do this, the stronger this the strength of the encryption keys will be. So you could do this for a while if you want, but that's pretty good. Like 30 seconds, 40 seconds is fine. And I'm just going to click Format. Now it's going to make that container. And there it did right there, eh? Test container. I've never had this fail. I've had this on 3 or 4 operating systems, and VeraCrypt has never failed for me. It was successfully created. Okay. Now if you want to make another one, you just click Next. Otherwise, we're just going to exit. And let's exit out of this. So there's your container. Now the interesting thing about this container is you could right click and you could choose properties, and I could call this .mp4. Hit enter, and now for anybody looking at this, that's a little video, you know. So if they try to open it and it doesn't play, you could say, oh geez, you know, the video screwed up. But when you go to decrypt it, I suggest removing that extension. I'm not sure if it'll actually mount, or if you've put an extension on after the fact, after having created it. I think it will, but I don't want to mess around here all day and show you guys a bunch of problems. So I'm going to remove the extension, but you can leave it on there when you're traveling or whatever, and nobody will ever know the difference that it's not a video that's screwed up. So let's put our right now, and this is just an empty container now. Okay, there's our 3 files we want to put into it. So now let's put our files into that container. So we're going to open VeraCrypt again. Applications, come on buddy. Where are you? Move too fast. Come on. Okay, fine. V-E-R-A, VeraCrypt. Okay, so we're going to have to mount our container because our computer's looking at it almost like an external hard drive. So we're going to find the container first. It says select file. Select it. It's on our desktop. There it is right there. I'm going to click open. And then I'm going to click mount because we have to mount that container now. Now it wants that password. 1, 2, 3, 4. Click. Then this is where it would ask for the key files too. Right here, right? Use key files. And out of all those algorithms for encryption, we've got it's automatically set to auto detection. So it's going to detect what kind of algorithm was used. And it's going to apply our password to open or to mount this container. Click OK. Now, my operating system, Linux, always asks for an administrator password. The other systems I've used this on never do this. Okay, so there's my administrator password. So it's decrypting. Takes a little bit. There you go, and then it opened them. I don't know why it's opening it up twice. But there it is. It's devices, 21 meg. It made it 21 meg. And it's mounted. It looks just like look at that. It looks just like an external hard drive. So now we want our photos, our files, in here. So we're going to select our files, and we're going to drag them into here. And there they are. Don't forget, I just selected and dragged and dropped, so that basically is it copied. Because VeraCrypt, my computer, looks at this container as an external drive, and if you were to do that on an external drive, this is exactly what would happen. It wouldn't move; it would just copy. So you could probably select and move to. There you go. I could have just moved them instead of copying them, but I just dragged and dropped. But they're there. So now I'm going to close that. And I'm going to dismount the container. So the container is gone. And don't forget, if you drag and drop like I did, you still have the copies on your desktop, and if you don't want them sitting there, don't forget to throw them in the trash and empty that trash. So now let's say we've gone somewhere where we've been on the road, we've traveled, and we're in another country, and that special info that you have, that personal info, maybe it's copies of your health insurance or health card numbers or driver's license and stuff like this that you don't want to lose, and you want to get that container, or maybe this container you've already stored in the cloud and you need the info now. So you've downloaded the container or you've found it on your hard drive. Now we're going to access that information because maybe you've lost your wallet and you need to go to an embassy or something and reapply for a visa or a passport or whatever, and they want to know what the copy of your passport was. Well, you might have it in that container. So we're going to select that container now. It's already been built, and we want to access the files in it. Now, if we were to just turn around and double click that, it's an unknown file. It has no idea what it is. But we've got our VeraCrypt open, so now we're going to select that container. And we know it's on the desktop. And we select it and click open. And there it is there. And now we got to mount it just like an external hard drive. It'll want your password for that container. Click OK. My operating system wants the administrator password. Okay, now it's going to decrypt that container and show me the info in it. There it is. So there's the info. There's my files I put in there, and again it opened too. I don't know why. Doesn't seem to be a problem. So if this was sensitive information, birth certificates or something like that, I could just grab that now if I wanted, and I could just drag and drop it on my desktop, close that. Now our container is still there. We got to dismount that container, right? So almost like disconnecting that hard drive. So we're going to click dismount. Bang, it's gone. And now we exit. There's our files, and there's our container. Now, say later on you don't want that container anymore, you could just grab that container and drop it in the trash. And don't forget to empty the trash. And that's about it. I hope this was helpful. If I make another video, maybe I'll do one on using VeraCrypt to make a hidden container within the container. But thanks for watching, and take care.